Trump's nominee for Attorney General has sent shockwaves through the Second Amendment community. Pam Bondi, a name associated with both strong conservatism and contentious policies, has really ruffled the feathers of countless gun owners and 2A advocates, including yours truly. In this video, we'll talk about Bondi's record, the backlash from gun owners, and what her confirmation could mean for the future of gun rights in America. Pam Bondi isn't new to the spotlight. As Florida's former Attorney General, she built a reputation for being tough on crime and a staunch supporter of conservative values. But when it comes to the Second Amendment, her record has been far from straightforward. People who care about their 2A rights are now asking, can Trump think of somebody else? Is Bondi really the right person to defend our rights? To answer that, we need to dig into her past actions and see what they reveal about her stance on firearms and gun control. Bondi became a polarizing figure in the gun rights debate following the tragic Parkland school shooting in 2018. Florida responded with sweeping gun control measures, including red flag laws, a bump stock ban, and raising the minimum age for purchasing assault rifles to 21. Bondi publicly praised these reforms, aligning herself with then-Governor Rick Scott. Together, they drafted legislation allowing law enforcement to temporarily confiscate firearms from individuals deemed a threat, even without full adjudication. While supporters saw this as a necessary step toward public safety, many gun owners viewed it as a direct assault on due process. This wasn't the only controversy tied to Bondi's name. In NRA v. Bondi, she defended Florida's law banning 18 to 20-year-olds from purchasing firearms, arguing that the legislation was constitutional. Her stance placed her in direct opposition to gun rights groups like the NRA, which saw the law as a discriminatory infringement on the Second Amendment. Similarly, in Norman v. State, Bondi upheld Florida's ban on open carry, a decision that particularly enraged activists after a black man was arrested for accidentally exposing his firearm while legally concealed carrying. These cases, combined with her support for red flag laws, have made Bondi a divisive figure among conservatives. Now, I don't know what to make of this, but there are actually voices within the gun rights community claiming that the criticism of Pam Bondi might be overblown. Some are arguing that she's actually been a significant supporter of the Second Amendment, pointing to her record as Florida's Attorney General. They argue that Bondi signed amicus briefs opposing Connecticut's ban on certain semi-automatic weapons and Florida's restrictions on handgun and ammunition sales to adults aged 18 to 20, making that point that it wasn't about infringing on gun rights, but about ensuring what they view as constitutional protections remain intact. But let's take a closer look at these claims. Signing amicus briefs isn't exactly groundbreaking or a bold defense of gun rights. It's a legal maneuver used to align with cases already in motion, not a proactive policy initiative. In essence, it's low risk, low reward, a way to appear supportive of the Second Amendment without really getting into the weeds of policymaking or taking a definitive stand. Moreover, the context matters. Connecticut's semi-automatic weapons ban came in the wake of the Sandy Hook tragedy, where 20 children and 6 adults were killed. Bondi's decision to oppose that ban, despite overwhelming public support for stricter gun control measures after the shooting, is questionable at best, laughable at worst. Was she truly standing up for constitutional principles, or was it a calculated political move to maintain her standing among pro-gun conservatives? Bondi supporters also conveniently ignore her more contentious actions, like defending Florida's ban on open carry and supporting red flag laws, policies that are antithetical to our Second Amendment rights. If she's such a staunch defender of gun rights, why hasn't she been consistent? It seems like her record is less about protecting constitutional freedoms and more about political convenience. So, while some in the 2A community might believe that the criticism of Pam Bondi is unfair, a closer examination suggests otherwise. Her so-called support for the Second Amendment is nothing but lip service, a way to placate her conservative base while steering clear of any meaningful reforms that could address the gun violence epidemic. Let's pause here for a moment. I've laid out some of Bondi's record, both the actions that have angered gun owners and those that show her commitment to the Second Amendment. But what do you think? Is she a defender of gun rights with a few missteps, or has her support for certain gun control measures crossed the line? Comment below with your thoughts. I'd love to hear your take. Now, while Bondi's mixed record has sparked outrage in some circles, there's no denying her potential to shape the future of gun rights as Attorney General. Her support for red flag laws as a red flag in itself. These laws erode due process by allowing firearm confiscation without a court trial. Examples of misuse have further fueled concerns, with stories of parents being labeled domestic terrorists for speaking out at school board meetings or individuals being presumed guilty before proving otherwise. These scenarios highlight the slippery slope many fear when red flag laws are implemented without adequate safeguards. At the same time, Bondi has shown she can push back against gun control measures when necessary. She's publicly criticized President Biden's recent proposals, including assault weapons bans and expanded red flag laws. In one interview, she pointed out the negative impacts of focusing on law-abiding gun owners while illegal firearms flow across open borders, brought in by cartels and gangs. Bondi's remarks were calculated to resonate with the broader frustration among conservatives who feel the government targets responsible citizens while ignoring the root causes of gun violence. One area where Bondi could potentially win back support from gun owners is by aligning her policies with Trump's pro-Second Amendment agenda. For example, the Concealed Carry Reciprocity Act, a policy allowing concealed carry permits to be recognized nationwide, has been a cornerstone of Trump's gun rights platform. Bondi has expressed support for concealed carry, particularly for highly trained individuals like former military personnel and police officers. Advocating for nationwide reciprocity could be a way for her to reassure gun owners that she's committed to defending their rights. Still, the skepticism remains. Many gun owners question whether Bondi's past support for gun control measures signals a willingness to compromise on critical Second Amendment issues. They want to know how she plans to approach federal funding for state-level red flag laws under the bipartisan Safer Communities Act. Will her DOJ investigate potential misuse of these funds and ensure due process requirements are met? These are the kinds of questions gun owners hope to see answered during her confirmation hearings. Bondi's confirmation hearings in the Senate are shaping up to be a pivotal moment for the Second Amendment community. Gun owners are looking for concrete reassurances that her policies will prioritize protecting their rights, not compromising them. Her track record does include moments of clear support for gun rights. Again, take her criticism of President Biden's gun control measures, for example. Her remarks resonate with many conservatives who see the Biden administration's policies as misguided and overly punitive toward responsible gun owners. This alignment with Trump's broader Second Amendment agenda could be a significant factor in swaying public opinion in her favor. Another potential area of redemption for Bondi lies in her advocacy for firearms in schools. She's expressed support for allowing highly trained individuals, such as former military personnel and law enforcement officers, to carry firearms in schools. This proposal aligns closely with Trump's support for the Concealed Carry Reciprocity Act and reflects a broader belief among conservatives that responsible gun ownership can enhance safety rather than threaten it. If Bondi can articulate a clear vision for how the DOJ will promote concealed carry policies, she could win back some of the support she's lost among gun owners. But even with these potential positives, there's still a lot of skepticism surrounding Bondi's nomination. Many gun owners feel that her past actions have created a trust deficit that won't be easily repaired. They want to see her take a firm stance against any policies that could be perceived as infringing on their rights. For example, will Bondi commit to rescinding federal funds used to incentivize state-level gun control measures? And will she ensure that the DOJ prioritizes investigations into the misuse of red flag laws? These are the kinds of commitments that gun owners will be looking for as they evaluate her suitability for the role. Before we move forward, I want to hear from you. Do you think Pam Bondi's past actions disqualify her from being an advocate for the Second Amendment, or is there a chance she can prove herself as Attorney General? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'm genuinely curious to know where you stand on this. As we consider Bondi's potential impact on the Second Amendment, it's important to look at the broader implications of her nomination. The Attorney General plays a critical role in shaping federal gun policy, and decisions made at the DOJ can have far-reaching consequences for gun owners across the country. Whether it's defending existing laws, challenging unconstitutional restrictions, or promoting new policies, Bondi's actions in this role will be closely scrutinized by advocates on both sides of the gun rights debate. Bondi's nomination also raises questions about Trump's broader strategy for appealing to gun owners. By selecting a nominee with a mixed record, is Trump signaling a shift toward more moderate policies, or is this simply a calculated move to balance competing priorities within the Republican Party? These are questions that go beyond Bondi herself and speak to the evolving dynamics of the Second Amendment debate in America. Bondi's confirmation hearings will ultimately serve as a litmus test for her ability to win over the Second Amendment community. While some gun owners see her as a problematic figure due to her support for red flag laws and other gun control measures, others recognize her potential to advocate for their rights if she aligns her policies with Trump's pro-gun agenda. For Bondi, this is a crucial moment to prove that she understands the concerns of gun owners and is willing to address them head-on. Bondi could strengthen her standing with gun owners by taking a hardline stance against federal overreach in gun control. For example, she could pledge to investigate any misuse of funds under the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act and ensure that red flag laws are implemented in a way that respects due process. By addressing these concerns, Bondi could demonstrate that she's serious about protecting the constitutional rights of all Americans, even in the face of pressure to compromise. At the same time, Bondi has an opportunity to withdraw her support for the 18 to 20-year-old gun ban. By acknowledging the concerns of young gun owners and proposing policies that uphold people's constitutional rights, she could begin to rebuild trust with this key demographic. This would also allow her to demonstrate a broader understanding of the complexities involved in gun policy and the importance of protecting the rights of all Americans. So, where does this leave us? Pam Bondi's record on guns is mixed. She's taken actions that have angered many gun owners, but she's also shown a willingness to stand up for the Second Amendment when it matters most. As her confirmation hearings approach, gun owners will be watching closely to see how she addresses these issues and whether she can earn their trust. One thing is clear: the stakes couldn't be higher. The decisions made by the next Attorney General will have a lasting impact on the Second Amendment, and gun owners are counting on Bondi to get it right. If this video was helpful in any way, please like, share it with your friends to spread awareness, subscribe to channel for further updates, and click that little bell icon so you don't miss out on our future videos. Thanks for watching.